શિવરહસ્યમાં હવનમાં દેખાય મોડલ આ શિવરહસ્યમાં છે.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam Sarvabhuta Guhashayam Yat Sarva Vishayatitam Tasmai Sarva Vide Namaha. Atmarupa Videh Karyam Kriyadibhyo Nivartanam Nasadhyam Sadhanam Vatma Nityatrupta Smriter Mataha Utpadapya Vikaryani Samskaryam Chakriya Phalam Natonyat Karmana Karyam Tyajet Tasmat Sasadhanam. Kriyadibhya Nivartanam, turning away from Kriya actions. So this is Atmarupa Videhe. Atmarupa Videhe Tattva Sarup Avadharanat. By Avadharanat, by ascertainment of the true nature of the self. What happens? What's the outcome? Kriyadibhya Nivartanam. The turning away from all Kriya or Karma or Kartavya. Basically, the Vedantin looks upon Kartavya, duty, as a sign of bondage. Because duty imposes upon you a sense of compulsion. I have to do. In duty, there is this thought that I am obliged to do. In duty, an obligation is involved, which is a great thing for the growth of the person. But then a time has to come when one has to become free from that also. The Mimamsakas do not accept. They don't go by whether they analyze the reason for duty or not. For them, duty means the statement of Veda, that's all. Because Veda says, therefore you should do. The Vedantin will rather go into the reasoning as to why the Vedas say that. Yes, there is a harmonious setup in the universe. Upakarya, upakaraka, spirit is there of helping, being helped. And therefore it is appropriate that the human being also, being part of the universal scheme, should also follow that spirit of becoming upakaraka, which was translated as contributor. And since human being is an ignorant, self-centered person, see, ignorance creates self-centeredness. Ignorance creates a sense of lack or want because of identification with what is lacking or wanting, namely the body. That creates a sense of separateness, isolation, insecurity. So lots of things that we do are out of insecurity or fear. And fear always makes very cautious, I must take care of myself. And that is how I am for myself. I become a self-centered person. So self-centeredness is the most evident expression of ignorance. It is the fulfillment of self-centeredness that in fact keeps on damaging me, which I do not realize. Human being thinks that he is very smart when he is able to get his way, not realizing that that is in fact hurting his core by only justifying insecurity. If you do something that is caused by insecurity, it only perpetuates insecurity, does not eliminate insecurity. Therefore, Vedas therefore tell you to act or fake it as though you are a secure person. And therefore, entertain the spirit of giving, upakara, contribution. That's the whole idea of yajna. Yajna is that I offer myself to the scheme of, to Ishvara, your scheme of things. Therefore, this duty is an excellent thing if it is done with understanding, which most people don't, unfortunately. So people are only aware of the obligatory aspect of duty, not the elevating aspect of duty. Duty is meant to elevate me, make me more mature. So Vedantin certainly accepts the role of duty in the life of a human being, in his spiritual growth. But a time has to come when one has to even let go of the duty, because then you have to pick up something higher than that. Duty is, of course, your crutch or your means of growth, like a pole vault, but then someday you have to let go and then you have to rise higher, meaning that then you have to take up the pursuit of knowledge, which the Mimamsakas don't see. They go by the statement of Vedas rather than the rationale that is involved in those statements. They are very intelligent people in analyzing the statements, but not where the statements come from, which is what Vedantin sees. The statement comes for the growth of the person. And therefore, when duty or kartavya has accomplished that purpose of bringing about the growth, then you have to let it go. That the self is akarta, actionless. Therefore, wise person, even though appearing to perform action, does not perform action. And therefore, a mumukshu aspirant also should give up action, because he has to create in his mind an environment which is conducive to discovering himself as actionless. He could not be performing action under pressure and deliberately assuming the role of a karta, because that's what you need to perform karma. With that you can't discover that you are actionless. Therefore that compulsion of duty has to go to help the aspirant discover the self that is actionless. So Vedanta looks at the spirit of the injunction of duty. Not that Vedanta does not see the role of duty, not that it does not respect the statements of Vedas, but Vedanta says that every statement has to have boundaries. Nothing can be unconditional. He said to somebody. Whatever is said by somebody to somebody. So when the Veda says that you must perform your duty, it is said to somebody. Now, that is not unconditional, boundless. Vedanta says it is said to somebody who needs the duty. Therefore, Vedas are compared to mother who responds to the need of the child. Not control the child. No, this Vedas are controlling. Shasana, Shastra. Shasana, one that rules is called Shastra. But Vedanta says that Shasana, Shastram, it is one that teaches is called Shastra. So even the injunctions of Vedas also are not looked upon as statements to direct or command us. Even the statements apparently sounding command also are meant to educate us and not command us. Nobody can command anybody. You cannot, even Vedas cannot command anybody. If you do not want to be commanded, nobody can command you. Vedas do this. I will not do that. What can you do? So even though there may be a statement sounding like command, that is called injunction. Ling lotavya, grammatically. It is only an educating statement, not a commanding statement. That's what Vedanta says. Vedas always educate. But no, they make you perform action. Nobody makes you perform. You perform the action if you think you want to perform it. Even after being told, do this, I do it only if I think that I should do it, not otherwise. They say that Veda is commanding. Shasanat, the rule, therefore that's called Shastram. So, there is altogether a different perception about what the role of Veda is. Now, these discussions may not appear to be relevant to us today, but still, even though this may be directed to the Mimamsakas, in a subtle way the teacher is unfolding the nature of the self and the nature of knowledge. Apart from unfolding the Tatparya of the Vedas, the teacher also is unfolding the nature of the self and the nature of knowledge. Otherwise, we are not interested in this. We understand. Why do you keep on bringing up these Mimamsakas all along, We know. But no, it is brought up to analyze those statements, to determine Tatparya of those statements of Vedas. And in that process also, to understand how the Vedas are always teaching us. And Vedanta has determined that the only intention or Tatparya of the Veda is self-knowledge. That we went through. Karma is not the Tatparya, Jnanam is the Tatparya even of Karma Kanda. of Karma Kanda, the entire Veda consisting of Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda, one Tatparya, namely self-knowledge. But Karma Kanda does not teach self-knowledge. How do you say karmas are also enjoined for self-knowledge? Through Antahkarana Shuddhi. But then the Vedas talk of Kamya Karma. But that is for you ultimately to get fed up with that Kamya Karma. You realize that Kamya Karma means actions prompted by desires. Also take you nowhere. A thinking person recognizes, conscious person, that fulfilling desire is not the end of anything, it is beginning of something. Even Kamya Karmas are also, Vedantin says, are meant to only reveal the limitations of Kamya Karma and education of the human being to make him see the limitations of Kamya Karma. The Mimamsakas say Kamya Karma is real karma. For them a karma cannot be performed without Kamana. Arthi means a desirous person should perform. Otherwise, what's the point in performing karma? Vedantin says, no, it is meant to educate this arthi, meaning the desirous person. That fulfilling desires only traps you into this chain of birth and death, cause and effect, and a sorrow go around mainly. So Vedantin has its own Tatparya and Nischaya of the Vedas. What is intended by the Vedas, this is Vedantin's perception. Is one perception conflicting with another perception? We are not interested in conflict, but then because other perception helps us to understand what ignorance can do, what wrong understanding can do. Therefore, the right understanding is provided here. Nityatrupta smruter matah, nityatrupto niranjanah, nityatrupto nirashah. And karma cannot become the means of moksha. The idea of moksha that the Mimamsakas have is Svarga. And that is to be apyam, that is something to be accomplished. So karma is generally looked upon as a means of accomplishing what is not accomplished. Vedantin says not necessarily. Karma can also be a means of releasing you from the need of accomplishment. You don't need to accomplish anything. Recognize that. You begin as very lacking, wanting people, and there were a lot of things that have accomplished in life. Go ahead and do that. But then it is hoped that someday you will find that this leads you nowhere in terms of your own inner peace and happiness. It may lead you somewhere in terms of your name, fame, etc., etc. As far as self, inner self is concerned, in fact, you are only nurturing dissatisfaction, you are pouring only butter into fire by fulfilling your desires and ambitions. Therefore, because moksha is already accomplished, you must recognize that the life is meant for accomplishing what is already accomplished. Praptasya prapti. Nitya praptasya prapti. Nitya nivrittasya nivritti. Sukham is nitya praptam. Dukkham is nitya nivrittam. And so, this is where Vedantin comes from. Therefore, says that karma can be means of utpadyam, apyam, vikaryam, samskaryam, kriyaphalam. Kriyaphalam meaning the result of action can accomplish something unaccomplished, can help you reach somewhere where you are not, can create something which is not, can transform one thing from the other state, from one state to other, can clean something from what is dirty. Atma does not fall in any of these categories. So Atma is not subject to any action. Atma can be sadhya of any action, it can be sadhana of all action also. Atma is free from the idea of sadhya and sadhana. The moksha is to become free from the notions of sadhya and that I am sadhya or I am a sadhana or I am a sadhaka. That's where Vedantin comes from. Now continuing with verse 51. Meaning that mumuksha also does not require to perform duty. When mumuksha arises, vividisha arises, duty has done its job. Vividishanti brahmanaha yajnena danena tapasa anashakena. So purpose of yajna, dana, tapas is to create vividisha. When that is done, they have performed the role. Meaning that not only the wise person is a sannyasi just spontaneously. Mumuksha should become sannyasi deliberately. To create for himself or herself a state of mind or environment which is conducive to contemplating upon the actionless self. Kim sasadhana karma tyaga matrena mukti siddhi. That's all. Is that all you need to do? Tajet tasmat sasadhanam karma. So earlier verse says that therefore the mumukshu should tajet, should give up, renounce karma, duty along with sadhanam. Jaya, patya, vitta, shikha, yajna, pavitadi, with all of that encumbrances. Is that all? That vividisha sannyasa, the description of vividisha sannyasa. When sannyasa is done, it can only be vividisha sannyasa. Sannyasa happens, it is vidvat sannyasa. If you want sannyasa to happen, but for that you should take sannyasa. So thus, when you take that sannyasa of giving karma and all the accessories of karma, is that all you need to do? He says, no. Kim sasadhana karma tyaga matrana mukti siddhi. Mukti siddhi, accomplishment of mukti or moksha is simply by letting go or giving karma along with sadhanas. Kim va anyat kyamapi kartam krityam, or is there something else also, something more to be done? It apekshayam, that apeksha arises because last verse says tyajes tatsmat sasadhanam. Therefore the mumukshu should give up the karma along with sadhana. Is that all I need to do or should I have to do something more? Ida apekshayam atma tattva jnanaya guru pasatti kartavyayati. Another kartavya comes. So kartavya in terms of duty is given up to the world. Now duty comes towards for yourself. You can't be just hanging around in the air, given up all karma, then what? No, suddenly you have to do something else. Guru pasatti kartavya. You will approach the teacher. Sad vidvan upasrupyatam. So you must approach the teacher. So that is the tapanta, that is the prayojanam or tatvarya of the next verse. Yadva, the next verse can also be understood as Yasmat sarkarma bandhana pritihi anitya. Okay, so then next one is what the verse describes. So first the teacher himself answers, Guru Pasatti. Second is what the verse says in so many words. So let us read the verse. तापान्तत्वाद नित्यत्वाद आत्मा तत्वाच्च या बहिः संवृत्यात्मनितां विदितिम् सत्यार्थी गुरुमाश्रयेत्. So Guru Upasatti Kartavya. You have to approach the teacher. You have to. So says Satyarthi Gurum Ashraye. Satyarthi Arthi Arthasyasti desirous of Satyam. So one who is desirous of Satyam, of the truth, Gurum Ashraye. So that is what Vividisha means. Desire for knowledge also means desire of knowing the truth or achieving the truth. Satyarthi. So Mahatma Gandhi also looked upon himself as Satyarthi, as a seeker of Satya. That this is what I am searching for in my life. But Guru Mahasaya, you must now approach. Ask, take a resort to the Guru. Take refuge into a Guru. Not approaching. Asha means you must take refuge into the Guru. You should place yourself at the feet of that Guru and dispose of the Guru. Now let the Guru work upon you. Guru is like a sculptor. And the stone offers itself to the sculptor to allow sculptor to form it. But this is not an easy, this is not a stone. It's a live person. And therefore you can't expect a person to behave like a stone. That would be a tremendous idea that, But anyway, the idea is ashraya. Mahapurusha samshaya, taking refuge into a Mahapurusha, means seeking protection of Mahapurusha. So this verse then says, see, there are these words, these all words are in the fifth case. Tapantatvad, anityatvad, Atma Sattvacha. Tapantatvad, because it ends in tapa antaha yasya tat tapantam, because it ends in tapa santapa or in sorrow. Anityatvat, because anityam, it is impermanent or perishable. Atmarthatvacha is always for the purpose of self and not for others. What is that priti? Yeah, bahihi pritihi. Priti word is to be added. Yeah, bahihi pritihi. Pritihi, the love. One is for bahihi, for external things, which may be things and beings both. So this is the life. The life is that we love external things and beings because we look upon them as source of happiness, comfort. So recognize what's the nature of that priti. Tapantatvat. That love which can be called ultimately only attachment ends into tapa, santapa or sorrow. Anityatvat, that priti is always conditional. You love somebody or something as long as that entity, that person or the thing is agreeable to you, is helpful to you. helping you, supporting you, etc. When that is not there, that love also disappears or evaporates, let us say. So understand that the love that you have for others is impermanent. So that preeti is impermanent and therefore it ends into santapa. Sarve sanyogaha viyogantaha. All sanyogas end into viyoga. Associations always end in disassociations. That does not mean you should not associate. That's the idea is that don't bank upon that. Don't become so dependent upon something that then something is leg is pulled under your legs, Atma tattvacha. And preeti that you have for others and others have for you is Atma, for the self. That love is self-centered love, is conditional love, and that love ends in santapa or sorrow. So love that you have, asakti that you have for the world, when can you take sannyasa? When you discover anasakti, detachment for the world, for the things and beings of the world. Therefore, the nature of asakti or the relationship that we have is called asakti. In true love, these things don't apply. True love never ends in sorrow. True love is unconditional. So it will never end. It's a rare thing, but that is what love is, true love. And there is only one entity where we have the true love, that is ourselves. Atmastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Recognize that when you think that you love somebody else, something else, in fact, it is the love for your own self. So love for your own self is not conditional, it's unconditional, is not impermanent, permanent, and does not end in sorrow, ends in happiness. So love that I have for others has these consequences. Tapantatvat, anityatvat, atmatatvat. Love for anatma. Love for atma is the opposite of that. Love for atma results into happiness. It is nitya. It is selfless, unconditional. So that is how do you, renunciation is not simply giving up things of jaya, apatya, vitta, shikha, yajna, pavita, but attachment to all those things. Not just creating physical distance. Rasopyasa rasa remains. Even when you create physical distance from all loved entities, the attachment for that remains. So that is the binding factor. That doesn't allow you to the freedom. The attachment that remains in your mind, even when you have created a physical distance, by supposedly giving up, by taking sannyasa. Everybody wants sannyasa. Before sannyasa, this should happen. Otherwise, sannyasa becomes, a burden. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptum ayogataha. If you have not made your mind mature by developing love for yourself, that is maturity really. If love of the self is not developed, then you will be, taken for a ride by the world, by your own mind. Don't be a hurry for sannyasa. Everybody wants sannyasa. For some fascination is there. Swami, give me sannyasa, give him sannyasa, and then the recommendations come. As though it's something to be distributed, That's how it has become nowadays. I'll give you sannyasa, doing a big favor. And then hanging, let him, then why he is devoid of all the support that he has so far. Emotional support mainly, physical support you may not need. That emotional ties that have to be untied, that is when real sannyasa should happen. I still need my mother, and still need my father, and still need this and that, and, Not that it's anybody's fault that you need, it's there. Recognize that, and we have to become free. You can't justify those things. You transfer one father to other, and one sister to other, and one mother to other. So attachment is transfer one to the other. Maybe better thing. Hopefully this person is mature, the guru, otherwise that is another problem. Anyway, that is, it is relevant here also. That is not what the author intends here, but then it is because he says become free from attachment. And therefore the nature of attachment for the world is very clearly brought out here. When you discover this, when you discover that the attachment for the things and beings of the world results into this, it is santapantam. So because fifth cause is there by yasmat, so tikakara is yasmat, tasmat. So he provides yasmat. Priti anitya. Sarva karma nibandhana priti anitya, as Tika says. So sarva priti anitya. Karma nibandhana sarva priti anitya. That's how it should be. That priti that is connected with karma. Karma nibandhana. Dependent upon karma, connected with karma, associated with karma. So priti with anything other than you will involve karma. Giving something, taking something, it is not spontaneous. Priti for someone outside of myself it always involves attachment, involves karma. When some karma is performed, then I feel I am accepted, I am loved. I perform karma also in return. So, this karma, either outwardly, inwardly, is always involved in priti or attachment. Because attachment insecurity is always there, therefore something has to be done to hold on to that. I must hold on, I must not let it go, therefore I control things. Don't allow it to move. Hold on to something. So that so-called priti results into thus owning up something, controlling something, hanging on to something, not letting go, etc. Some karma is involved, if not outwardly, mentally. So karma nibandhana priti. We will find that the priti that we have for things and beings other than ourselves involves karma. Otherwise it will go away. If I don't do something, I will lose that. So to keep that, I must do something. The priti that requires doing something, karma, see, anitya, dukkhanta, therefore is anitya. Meaning that priti or attachment I have for the things and beings of the world always involves karma. On my part or part of the other one. Because only way I have to judge that somebody loves me is by their karma. How do you know you love me? You talk to me in a certain way, and etc., etc. So by your karma I judge your priti. Or to express my priti also I perform karma. So that preeti I have for anatma, something or someone other than me, is karma nibandhana. I mean, what an analysis here it is. Karma nibandhana. Amazing insights into life, Love anitya. Anything that depends upon karma, you can't consistently perform that karma forever. Nor can someone else also do that. So dukkhanta, tapanta, they will create dukkha. It will end someday. And you will find that always selfishness is involved. Swartha prayukta. Atma tattva is swartha prayukta. All love I have for others is my swartha, and love the other for me is for their swartha. That is how it is. There is no nishkam love. Then that would be real love, where there is niswartha. But no limited entity can offer niswartha because he is a needy person. A needy person cannot have real love anyway. So you attempt. Therefore, swartha prayukta cha tasmat tad nimittam pritim. Therefore, preeti that involves this called asakti. Anatma vishayam. All love that we have for anatma, meaning for some things or beings other than us, has this nature. Therefore, atmani samrutya atmani pritam pritim, you upasamrutya, withdraw that priti unto you. Love that you have for others, you withdraw it unto you, meaning that you discover that love for yourself. Let the love for others be slowly transformed into love for yourself. Atma upasamrutya. Purusharthi gurum samshrayeta iti mumukshum shikshayati. So teacher shikshayati. Teaches here the mumukshu that you must resort to a teacher. Take refuge into a teacher. So Tika says, Ya bahi atmanyatra jaya putrado pritihi. Ya bahi, so pritihi word has to be added. The love you have for external thing, jaya putrado, for wife, for the consort, putra, etc. Tam pritim atma upasamrutya atmasat kritva. The love which is for someone, let that love be transformed into love for yourself. Oh, recognize that is really love for yourself. The love that you think you have for others, recognize that is really love for yourself. Then alone, and then go to the teacher. If you go to the teacher with all kinds of stuff inside, nobody is like this anyway. This is an ideal mumukshu. We don't expect anybody to be like this, including ourselves. But this is where we have to go, reach someday. To create a healthy relationship. Healthier we are, healthier our relationship is. What is healthy? More self-love I have, not self-centeredness. More I am at ease with myself, comfortable with myself, I can cause comfort with others. More I am uncomfortable with myself, more demanding I serve others. Make others uncomfortable. Therefore, when you go to Guru also, the relationship should be conducive for you to learn, which is rarely the case anyway. Because we are all human beings, therefore nobody is perfect. This is a perfect, so shuddhantah karana. This is what shuddhanta means, self-love is developed. That is called purity of heart. You love yourself means not self-centered, comfortable with yourself. Santushta, I am content with myself. When I am content with myself, then I am content with anything else also. My need for other things arises only from discontentment from my own self anyway. So what is the mark of Antarakarana Shuddhi? Self-contentment. Content. But Swami, you are content, then how will you progress? You cannot be content. Contentment must happen. You cannot content. They think contentment is an action. It's not an action. Contentment has to happen. For which action is required? So karma, the purpose of karma is to discover a self-contentment. Therefore, right attitude to karma. Otherwise, same karma creates more discontentment. So therefore, atmasat krutva. Having done that, you go to teacher. That's what he said here. You should go to teacher not by just giving up things, but also giving the asakti for things. Then only you are really free to do what you need to do. This is rare to find, this kind of instruction inside. It's rare to find. In a few words. Upagantavyam gurum vishanasti. Upagantavyam gurum. The guru that you are supposed to approach. Vishanasti, what are the qualifications of the guru which you are asked to approach? Shantam. So next verse is Shantam prajnam tatha muktam Nishkriyam brahmani sthitam Shruteraacharyavan veda Tadvidhiti smrutes-tatha. So Gurum Ashraya, that Gurum is now, there is Anuvritti. The first line of the next verse describes Guru, which this verse does not mention. So for earlier verse said Gurum Ashrayet. You must take refuge into Guru. What Guru? That's why in the same case, Shantam, Prajnam, Muktam, Nishkriyam, Brahmani Sthitam, Gurum Ashrayet. Take refuge into a Guru who is Shanta, Shantam, Akshubda Chittam, free from all Shubdhatvam, agitations. One whose mind is free from agitations. Prajnam, Medhavinam, who is wise, possesses Medha, Atmajnanam, wise person. Muktam. Muktam is explained as tatha yatha parityakta bandha sajatiyena punarbaddo navadi tatha muktam. Mukta means free. What is freedom? The freedom which enables you to remain free. Not again get attached to things that you've given up. We give up things and then over again I find attachment for that. Things come back in different ways. So as a sannyasi I give up various things, then I say again seek the same thing in different ways. The Raja Yogi Guru. So all Raja Yoga is around him or her or whatever, So whatever, now these are all different views. Tapovan Maharaj would accept nothing of that, But that is the kind of Guru that is described here. Yatha parityakta bandha sajatiyena. By entities that are similar to what you have given up. You give one kind of clothes, you fascinate with other kind of clothes, one kind of thing, and so again you are tied to something else of the same jati, not same thing. One house you give up, but another house, another ashram, something like that. Some clothes you give up, another clothes, and so forth. So parityakta bandha sajatiyena. When asakti is not gone, it finds its outlet somehow. And formerly I was asakta attached to this, that I have given up. I have given up. But then I acquire something else. To only center of asakti has changed. Locus of asakti has changed. So you keep on declaring what all I have given up. You know something? I gave up. What I gave up, you know? Whether you give up or not, God knows. But you keep on repeating that until the whole of your life. I give up this, I give up that. I didn't accept it, I rejected it, discarded it. Who asks you? So big Mahatmas also, this is all Atma Shlaga. Some problem inside which requires you to announce what your accomplishments are. How great I am. Why? If you are great, why do you announce your greatness? But that's why you don't feel you are great. That is why you keep on announcing it. Well, I don't know. We have no reason to comment upon anybody else. But if we find these elements in ourselves, that's the whole idea here, which we have. It is not somebody else, we all fall in that category. So we have to, I recognize this tendency in ourselves. Punarbaddhona bhavati, you give up one thing. The Vinobhava said that formerly he had attached 5 things, now he has 500 things, Oh no, for 500 things attachment, now he is all centered on 5 things. Now Kaupina is there, Danda is there, I am totally attached to that. Formerly 500 things I was attached to, now I have few things. But attachment is the same. Tatha muktam. So, Lord Krishna keeps repeating that also in his verses, So, that he doesn't have asakti even for the things needed for the life, for living. Now, that's the tall order. But this is what is a sign of freedom. Some asakti somewhere, need somewhere shows remnant of bondage. So nishkanchanam ityartaha, who has nothing with him. Nishkanchanam is a beggar, or one who has nothing, no possession. Ityartaha. Shantam prajnam tatha muktam nishkriyam. Not only the teacher, but the Tikakara also shows a tremendous insight. Without this tika, this text, for us at least would have been very difficult to really judge where the author is coming from. It was so difficult without this kind of tikas. Nishkriyam, ahika, amusmika, karya pravuttirahidam. Nishkriyam means that no karya pravritti is there for accomplishing anything in this world or the other world. No sakama karma is there. Nishkriya need not be interpreted as totally devoid of any activity. But activities that are devoid of any agenda, self-agenda. So at least agenda, one should become free from self-agenda. Ahika, amusmika, karya, pravrittirahitam. Karya, something has to be done, that has to be done. So this is a pravritti for accomplishing here or hereafter. Brahmani sthidam, abiding in Brahman. Why? In what way? Swaswarupa anandanubhavena sarvatra udasinam ityartaha. Sarvatra udasinam. He is indifferent, or meaning the unattached to everything, indifferent, unattached to everything. Not he is careless or indifferent doesn't mean that he ignores everything, etc. He is independent, meaning free from all asakti. All his relations are free from any kind of demand, agenda. Saratra udasinam ityartha. Nishkiram brahmani sthitam swaswarupa anandanubhavena. Because of the experience of ananda with one's own, therefore become free from need of any ananda. Or at least this should be the value of a sannyasi, if nothing else. These are supposed spontaneous, we are not so, but then at least this should be the value. Then Gurum Ashraye, the teacher instructs you. On what basis do you say that we should necessarily go to a Guru? Why can't I study myself? Why can I not gain this knowledge by myself? Why cannot self-study and get things? Gurum Ashraye, you must necessarily take refuge into Guru. Why? Guroho Ashraniyatve Pramanamaha. That you must take refuge into a Guru for that Pramanam. The authentic source of knowledge being stated here. Shrutehe. So Shruti Acharyavan Veda. That is so in inverted commas. Acharyavan Purusho Veda says Chandogya. The Purusha, the Acharya, alone gains knowledge. This was said in a very strange way that there is this man who has been left in a forest, blindfolded, hands tied. He lost sense of all directions. He's in a strange place, doesn't know anything, and shouts for help, and somebody comes and removes his bondage, clears his eyes, So blindfold was removed, hands are untied. And she doesn't know. Where is Gandha? This way you go. On the way you keep asking also. So that is all these things are fine, expressed in our languages also. Pushta Pandita. In Gujarati also say, how to become Pandita? By Pushta, asking, learning. Be a learner all the time. So Veda, who comes to understand? No, Acharyavan. One who is Acharya, he alone comes to know. Meaning that without Acharya, you cannot come to have true knowledge. That's what Veda, it seems to imply. Tad vidyeti smrutehe tad vidya pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanate jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina iti smrutescha. Very famous statement of Bhagavad Gita. So where Lord Krishna says, hey Arjuna, they will tell you the process of how to gain knowledge. Tad vidya is what? We know the process of gaining knowledge. Tad jnana sadhanam vidhi. What is sadhanam for gaining knowledge? Pranipatena, pariprashnena, sevaya. It is not that by pranipata, pariprashna, seva you get knowledge. By pranipata, pariprashna, seva, by long prostration, by serving the teacher, by the appropriate questions. When you win over the heart of the teacher, jnaninaha, tattvadarshinaha, the wise and learned teachers, upadekshanti, they will definitely impart teaching to you. Therefore, tad vidhi, may you know this. That's why it's a vidhi in a way. That here Arjuna, for gaining knowledge, you should do this. Pranipata, this is called Guru Upasadanam. How do you approach the teacher? Pranipatena, pariprashnena, sevaya, upaside, gurum prajnam. Vivek Chodamani said, upaside, gurum prajnam. You may approach the wise teacher in this way. Pranipatena, pariprashnena, sevaya. Dirgha Namaskar, right question, serving the teacher. Te jnana tattvadarshina te jnana upadekshanti. They will definitely impart knowledge to you. Because they are jnana tattvadarshina, therefore the wise and the learned teachers will be, I shouldn't say motivated, but inspired to, motivated to impart knowledge. So you must invoke that from the teacher. That the teacher wants to impart knowledge to you. He has the knowledge, all right, but they don't share it with anybody and everybody in those days. Today we are too much of prachar oriented. We want to, make ourselves known and spread and stuff like that. It's a reverse process, which is all right. That is how the river does. But then olden days it was like a well. You must go to the well if you're thirsty. Here the river comes to you to quench your thirst. Upadeshyanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. The wise and learned teacher will impart knowledge to you. So you must do this. Tad vidhi, you must know the process by which you create the right environment for the teachers to impart knowledge to you. Meaning that you must establish your worthiness of receiving the Upadesha. The next verse will say then what is the duty of the teacher will be told in the next verse. First, duty of the aspirant. Then Mundakopanishad follows the same. Tad vijnanasam suguru avagachet samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. That verse is explained here. And then Tasmai savidvan upasannaya samyak prashanta chittaya samanvita. Mundakopanishad, next verse, next mantra will be now explained in next verse. We will see. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.